When I looked back, I realized that I walked about 90 meters, which appeared to be very far away. I was shocked and worried. I attempted to walk back to the party, before I suddenly heard a nearby bush rustle. The rustling suddenly startled me. It rustled for a second time until a man popped out. He had black hair with a red streak, crimson eyes, a red and black shirt, red and black striped gloves, black pants, black and red sneakers. I let out a startled gasp before falling backwards. The mysterious red and black slasher walked towards me with a sinister grin. "G'day," he said. Who are you?" I stammered. "I am Pasta Boy," the man answered. My name is Rohan," I replied. Pasta Boy then paced around me slowly as he introduced himself. "You may or may not have seen me, but may have a similar hairstyle, the same face proportions, or a similar voice. But I am the future version of you." I gasped in shock. "Well, what?" I exclaimed in fear. "It's true. I can see your future," he replied as he continued pacing around me. I have gone insane because nobody would relate to me. I never got a chance to see my friends in person or hang out with them again. I made posts on Facebook asking them if they can ever hang out with me, but nobody answered. I got impatient, so I continued sharing them just to get an answer, going as far by using profane language. 10th time I did it, my mum called me out and put shame on me for it. I became offended that I've killed her with this. Pasta Boy held up a well-polished knife with thick small blood dripping from it. I gasped and You didn't! I shouted. "I did," he said melancholy, before chuckling quietly. Pasta Boy continued telling his story. "I was tired of working with people I didn't care for. One time, they bothered me too much. I've taken a risk, which means..." I mouthed what looked like I was saying no, before saying, "You've murdered them?" Pasta Boy nodded silently, not saying a single word. Pasta Boy then stopped pacing around and looked away. "Those trolls. I will never, in a million years, forgive them for what they've done to me," he said, trying to not choke up. "They were too much for me." I've dealt with that too," I responded. Pasta Boy slightly turned his head towards me, a side view of his face, but not his entire face. "You want to know what I've done to them?" he asked in a low tone. "Let me know. Let me guess. You've red-rummed them?" I asked, making a shining joke. It was too much. I can't take these assholes anymore. I didn't want to do either of those crimes, but I had to take a risk, Pasta Boy replied, about to cry. I clenched my teeth in discomfort. I was worried and concerned at meeting a future version of myself. Pasta Boy walked towards me and put his hand on my shoulder. "I've been wanting to say this to you since we met a few minutes ago, Rohan. Join me, and together, we can be free from the problems that affected us, and the people that have bothered and hurt us emotionally." I looked down at the path, thinking of my decision. It was a hard decision, but I made up my mind seconds later. "I can't. You'll take advantage of me. I'm not a monster, nor am I a criminal." I finally got a chance to walk on my 2 feet again down the path. "I'm sorry," I apologized. Pasta Boy then interrupted me. "Wait, I have one thing left to say. You've got no idea why my name is Pasta Boy, right?" I looked back, not bothering to say a word. I love pasta," he continued, as he walked slowly towards me. "It's so delicious. so thick, so rich, and so delectable. All I need is sauce. I can grab some pasta sauce for you, I replied. No. I'm looking for sauce. Right inside here. He finished, pointing his knife at my chest. I realized what Pasta Boy meant by that gesture. He was referring to the blood inside my body. Seeing that disgusting, sinister grin on his face, I quickly threw a punch to his face, causing him to fall on the floor. I quickly made a run for the party until Pasta Boy regained motion and ran after me. He ran so fast that he skidded right in front of me, with an evil smile slapped on his face. I skidded to a halt, seeing my future self in my very own eyes. He started off as a soft-spoken villain with a tragic backstory. Now he became a psychopathic killing machine he is. The ad started with a teenage girl on a computer, as usual, and she was trying to download a pirated movie. The ad cut to the first phrase, which was, "You wouldn't steal a car," smashing onto the screen. It showed a teenage boy or a man trying to steal a car with an unknown tool, dinging it into the window. He succeeded and opened the car door to seemingly hijack it. The second phrase smashed in, saying, "You wouldn't steal a handbag." It showed a woman at a restaurant looking at a menu, before a man walked up and stole a handbag from a chair, and as she didn't notice at all. The third phrase came in. It read, "You wouldn't steal a television." A man handed a large television to another man through the window as the second man walked away with it. Notice the fact nobody noticed him with a television. And it showed the last clip of this trailer, "You wouldn't steal a movie." It showed an interior of a DVD store, as a man took a DVD from a shelf and snuck it into his jacket. But instead of reversing the crime scenes, the ad showed more crimes. And sweet Jesus, were they messed up? It showed text mashing onto the screen saying, "You wouldn't steal flesh," but the font was in red, and the blue and red police light like flashing background was replaced with blood splattering around. My eyes widened seeing that horrible screen. My eyes widened even more seeing that next clip. This clip showed a man sitting next to another person, but he was dead, presumably murdered by the living man. The man cut the flesh off the deceased man's right arm before eating it. He even laughed like a madman while pulling a slasher smile. "Holy shit!" I whispered. This so-called extended cut just got horrified. The next clip showed text saying, "You wouldn't steal a corpse." A woman's corpse was shown lying next to a fridge before the camera panned to another man in the shadows with white eyes glowing, presumably the woman's murderer. He then ran up to her and picked her up by the arms and hid her in his bedroom wardrobe, or closet for my American readers. Another piece of text crashed in reading, "You wouldn't steal a bone." It showed a person's damaged arm with bones exposed, before a man came into the shot and grabbed it. He then fed his pet dog the bone, but the dog turned out to be vicious as his teeth were razor sharp and his eyes were red. The last clip showed, and dear God, it was messed up. It showed text entitled, "You wouldn't steal a chainsaw." The final scene showed a woodman about to chop down a tree, before another man ran up from behind him and got in a tug-of-war with the man for the weapon, before he stabbed the woodman in the chest with the chainsaw, before running away with it. Then the ad showed all the crime clips in reverse at fast speed, before cutting to the words, "Downloading pirated films is stealing," but in the blood-splattering background. It showed the girl still in the computer, waiting for the pirated movie to be downloaded. As that played, it showed back and forth moments of more words, "Stealing is against the law," crashing onto the screen, and the girl downloading the movie. The girl then cancelled the download of the pirated movie and got out of her desk and grabbed her backpack. The music stopped playing once she sat up and played in normal speed. The girl disappeared from the room. It showed the bedroom for about 5 seconds. After those seconds were up, the silence was suddenly interrupted by a blood-curdling shriek coming from the girl, and stabbing sounds were heard. The shrieking stopped, and it cut to the last shot of the trailer, where it showed the title of the PSA, Piracy, It's a Crime. The text was normal, colored in white, but it was in a blood-splattered background. I had a blank look on my face after seeing that horrible ordeal. I felt like vomiting seeing that graphic imagery. The PSA finally ended, showing a black screen with the sound of a door slamming, as heard in the music. It showed a black screen for 10 seconds, and I was just sitting on my couch, wondering if something else will happen. Apparently, something did. The black screen was interrupted by an image of a man cosplaying as a pirate in a black and white effect, with a loud, blood-curdling scream of a female. That appalling image scared the absolute crap out of me. I screamed really loud in shock and fell from behind my couch. The PSA ended for real this time.
Where is the girl? My daughter has already seen you with her,
the elderly man said.
What are you talking about? I don't know this girl, I stuttered.
The lollipop girl then pointed her gun towards me. Straight at me.
Stupid teen. I already saw how you die.
What?
She then pulled the trigger, attempting to shoot me.
I then smacked the gun out of her hand, and then I pushed one of the twins, the twin in the black suit, and the man and the elderly man, into a stack of fish tanks. Well, empty fish tanks, despite having water in them.
I gotta get out of here.
I whimpered. I then made a run for it. One of the twins, the one in the black suit, took off his sunglasses and started screaming as his eyes turned reptilian/snake-like. He began shattering many fragile objects in the Chinese restaurant while I was making a run for it, and with his screaming. He shattered many fish tanks and many light bulbs around the place.
What is happening?
I shouted. I then grabbed some butcher knives and tried throwing them at the twin before he looked at them with disgust. I almost bumped into the other twin with a multicolored in a grey shirt, or whatever color it was, and he started screaming, but I made another run for it. Luckily my ears didn't bleed since I was partially far away from him. He even shattered more fragile objects around the place with his scream. The twin in the black suit then joined with the other twin, and he started screaming with him. They looked directly at a large fish tank that had thousands of fish, and the fish tank was flooded due to their screams, and the water came crashing on me. I tumbled around the place and into what appeared to be a kitchen, like a Chinese kitchen where the food was made.
Oh no! Our table! It's broken!
What's going on? What's going on?
I shivered. I then saw 6 pairs of feet. I saw 3 pairs of feet approaching towards me, which turned out to be the Chinese trio, or Asian trio. The Chinese man in the black suit then whipped off his sunglasses and started screaming straight into my direction.
God! Make it stop! Make it stop!
I shouted. My ears started burning and bleeding at the sight.
Stop screaming! Stop! What did I do to you? I screamed more. The other twin joined in, making the chorus louder.
Stop!
I shouted even more, and finally, the last man started screaming with him, which was which was the weakest of the screams. The twin in the black suit had the most disturbing scream of them all, in terms of tone.
Stop! Stop! I don't want to die! I don't want to die!
I screamed more. Then the lollipop chick then came walking towards the Asian trio. My ears began ringing, and my vision started blurring. Blood began dripping out of my eardrums. I was going to die. And my nerves even started bleeding, possibly because of the blood vessels bursting in them. And I even felt I felt bloody tears coming out of my eyes. I was about to die. I then...
No. Please, don't kill me. Don't kill me. Don't kill me.
I then collapsed. The Chinese trio stopped screaming once I finally died. I woke up gasping for air, and this whole ordeal was just a nightmare. What I saw in my nightmare was awfully familiar. It was based off of that one scene from that 2009 science fiction Push, where the protagonist Nick Gent got attacked by bleeders. So apparently, in my nightmare, I was attacked by bleeders.